I find that the biggest reward is letting it go.
Yeah, I think there's that statement in the documentary that says, you said your mom would always say, if you're afraid of something, learn more about it. Mm-hmm. And then your fear will go away or something according to those.
She definitely did that when I was younger. I lived in Texas and we were huge with the tornado scene. That was what was happening. And I was terrified. So I would bring like a cross and I'd bring like a big pillow and I'd lay in my bathtub because that's what I Googled is supposedly going to help. And my mom would just kind of smile at me. And the next day, I remember she got me a bunch of books and it was all about thunderstorms and different clouds and formations and all this stuff. And she just told me, she's like, it's not that scary, it's especially when you know that it's just a part of the world. And I guess they are still scary, but now I understand what happens. And yeah.
But I love how you're applying that to depression. You're applying that to different things in your life.
I completely agree with, my favorite thing that I say in the documentary is that I have bipolar. I learn how to live with it and I just have made it my friend because that's truly what it can be to me now.
Yeah. And tell us about that process of when you first discover something like that. Like you said, it's easier said than done. The voices are so loud. Mm-hmm. There's so much inner judgment.
Yeah.
Our inner critic is so painful to live with. And now when you're saying, I'm trying to work on making it a friend, which is a beautiful transition. Tell us a bit about that journey of inner critic to inner friend.
Well, to be honest, I've been to 4 treatment centers and I have a lot of opinions on, rehabs, if you will, or, places to go. There's a lot that I don't agree with, but what I will say is throughout all of it, learning lessons through dialectical behavior therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy, there's something that's always been embedded in me throughout all of those different moments in my life. And that was always to recognize when something was happening to me, accepting it. And I think once I realized that this was something that wasn't going to go away, this wasn't something that was going to be fixed by going to these places. It was more so, what can I know about myself? Okay, if I kind of go down this road, I'm going to get triggered and I know that feeling and I know how to avoid it. However, I go to therapy. I also have, medication that I fully am on that I believe in full-heartedly. And it helps me stay balanced. But I still have to deal with it. I still have days that are pretty low and moments that I'm just too over the top. And I'm like, I want to buy everyone a house and I want to save the world. But I've learned to kind of understand it. And the best part about that is also my family and friends learning how to live with it too. They can be great friends to me in that way. And that took a lot of time as well.
Yeah, no, these are such, I know that you do so much work in this space, but today when I'm hearing you share all these insights, and they genuinely are insights, they're so powerful because even you just saying like, I had to realize that I don't have to fix it or that it's not going to go away. Like these things make difficult things livable with.
Right.
And when we look at the seasons or we look at the weather, it's like, it's going to rain one day and it's going to be dark one day and it's going to be sunny another day. And when you know that, you stop trying to fight it and change it.
Yeah.
You can accept it, which it sounds from what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah. I mean, it's taken me a long time. It's that's not 6 years, that's probably 10 years in reality, but it's really been interesting and I feel better and I feel great now that I can talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing you keep mentioning today is letting go. And I think all of us are trying to know how to let go of old selves, old parts of ourselves, or parts that don't serve us anymore. And I remember when I lived as a monk, some of the areas that we'd live in, we'd come across a lot of snake skin. And we'd always use snakes as an analogy of how we leave behind. So snakes don't break out. They don't rip their skin off, they slither out,
Right.
and their skin just kind of like falls away.
Yes.
And then we would naturally not find snakes, thankfully, and find
Yes.
snake skin. But that analogy always like really resonated with me. The idea that when we're shedding, when we're letting go, it's not a aggressive process.
Right.
How did you learn to become compassionate and calmer with yourself? Because at first we can really feel like we're trying to break something off.
Yeah, I think I tend to blame myself when I can't let something go. I feel maybe something is my fault, or I should have done more of this or less of that. And it starts to become, you know, just like a really, I kind of turn sad. One thing I've noticed when I watched the documentary back for the first time, I didn't even recognize that girl anymore. And it broke my heart because I was talking about my body and my image. And I just hate that I ever felt those feelings. And I think because I have a younger sister, there's been this huge responsibility given to me in a way that has helped me. And I say this about my fans as well, or people that have, you know, grown with me. I've almost had to get back up every time, more so for them than myself. And that's something I've learned to really understand. It's healthy to want to be strong for other people, but I needed to recognize I needed to be strong for myself. And that took a while, and it took things like making myself uncomfortable and changing my my thought process, changing the things I watch on TV, changing the music I'm listening to, little things that I can adjust that will perhaps change my mood or make me feel better instead of worse, you know?
It is some of these small things, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love